Hello and welcome to the Natural Wellness Solutions Podcast. I'm Keith. This is Heather. We're holistic wellness practitioners for natural wellness solutions. We've got some thoughts to share with you today.
We do. Today's thoughts are around gratitude. So we heard this quote the other day. It said it's a little different than that I'm going to word it, but the basic premise of the quote was, don't worry about the people who aren't happy for you, because the likelihood that they aren't happy for themselves is fairly high. and Keith told me that quote, and I was like, right, because I feel like there are times where we get so concerned with other people, and like if something really good happens to us or happens for us and other people take a dig at you, they try and bring you down, whatnot, and we let it affect us. I feel like, at least for me, sometimes I let it affect me because I'm like, oh, why aren't they happy for me? Like, I worked so hard for this. They see that? And so when you bring in the perspective of like, they're probably not even happy for themselves, I think it gives you a new way to look at that, a new frame of mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you try and change yourself for them, and it seems like you try and surround yourself with people that want the best for you, but there's a lot of people that act like this, and it really seems like you try and give them the best version of yourself that serves them, and you start to lose your way a little bit, and not in a sense of necessarily losing yourself, but you lose that pride, you lose the confidence. It's not necessarily ego, it's just like you lose that sense of confidence that,
Yeah.
I am who I say I am. I'm gonna put effort, put action behind my word, because every time you do something good, it's almost like there are some people that make it seem like a punishment and a disservice to go out and accomplish something and enjoy life or create the life that you do enjoy, because they're so negative. They tell you how bad or whatever everything that you're doing is, and it makes you feel like you're being a disservice to them.
Well, and I think that people too, they want things to be easy. So because whatever it was that you accomplished, you gave off the illusion maybe that it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
So they see that and they're like, well, it was easy for you. And there's a maybe jealousy. I don't know, but it's like well, it was easy for you and I'm struggling over here, so I can't be happy for you because it didn't come to me. It didn't fall in my lap.
Yeah, and sometimes, so like you could even say this is like swimming. The whole duck in the water thing, where the duck looks super calm on the top, and then underneath its feet are just going. Or if you've ever seen a swimmer swim, like somebody that's really, really good at swimming, maybe they've done swim team or something for a long time, and they've put a lot of effort into it. And you go out into the water, and maybe they take you a little bit too deep to where you're uncomfortable. And they're swimming, and they make it look so easy because they put so much work into it. Mm-hmm. And then you're over there feeling like you're drowning, doing the same exact thing. You're in the same water, the same depth, the same area, but they're making it look easy. And you're struggling to survive almost. And so you end up trying to ride on you try and grab them. You try and hold on to them. You like, hey, it's easy for you. You're doing this so,
effortlessly.
Yeah. Help me out, And so you end up clinging on to them. Rather than, stepping back a little bit and working at it, really developing the skill, mm-hmm. so that you can go make it look effortless as well. It's not effortless, it's still taxing, but it's easier. because in life this would be probably called introspection, learning about yourself, skills development to make things look easy. So when you look at people, you might look at them and say, man, they have such an easy life. Everything just comes to them. It's so whatever it is. Parallel it with that swimmer. Mm-hmm. Don't be so quick to just jump on, like just to cling on to them so then you feel like you can survive. Maybe there's somebody that you need to ask for tips. It's like they're making it look easy. Don't write everything off that they're doing. So for the people that are talking down to others, maybe because they thought that everything was given to them or whatever it is, whatever the case is, a lot of the reality is that you kind of have to deal with it. But I'm not saying that with a desire to be harsh or mean, but with a desire that you can get some introspection, learn about yourself a little bit, so then you can learn how to properly deal with it so it can look effortless for you as well. So one of the biggest things that, and it sounds so simple, is this idea of when in doubt, zoom out. So this is like I think this is like a trading thing, like a financial thing. When they look at charts and you're looking like, say, like on the daily moving average of a financial chart, if you're not quite sure what that chart looks like, and I'm not going to get too much into it, but you don't know exactly what it's going to look like, you zoom out to maybe a month, or you zoom out to 6 months, or you zoom out to the year. So when you're looking at, what it's doing in the day, you can't quite see everything that's happening. It might look like it's a huge downturn, but if you zoom out to 6 months, it kind of goes like this. You might be on a high, but since you're looking at that one day, it's a big downturn. So when you're thinking about gratitude, you can just keep this in mind. When in doubt, zoom out. You look at a larger time horizon. This goes into gratitude of choices. Like if you aren't sure what choice that you want to make, you can look at the choice and say, hey, is this reversible, and how long will it take me to reverse this choice? Well, if it doesn't take very long, because when in doubt, zoom out. Expand that time horizon. You can have a lot less fear and a lot more gratitude. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing is there's a common quote. It's a comparison
is the thief of joy.
Yeah, comparison is the thief of joy. But if you think about it from a different perspective, you could use comparison to bring gratitude. So I wouldn't say that comparison is necessarily the thief of joy. You can use comparison, maybe even zoom out a little bit, and then you can have a little bit more gratitude. So these are two simpler ones that you can use.
I think that you made a really good point earlier too, that you'd mentioned being introspective. And I think that when we have these issues of like the duck on the water, and or even when you go out swimming and someone makes life look really easy, they make swimming look really easy, but you feel like you're just drowning, right? I think that's a great time to be introspective and reflective. And it is so easy. I'm gonna give you a little insight. My son and I just had a conversation last night. He came to me. It was right at bedtime. He came just crying, and he was like, "Mom, I need to tell you something." I was like, "What's going on, buddy?" And he said, "I feel like I did something wrong." And I said, "Well, what did you do?" And he goes on to tell me a couple of things that he felt like weren't the best choice for him. And I said, "I'm really proud of you, buddy." And he's like, why? And I said, "Because you noticed that something that you did wasn't benefiting you. So what did you do? Like, what were your next steps?" And he said, "Well, I stopped." I did something different. I said, you changed your environment. I said, you're only 11 and you are recognizing that the environment, the choices that you're making, we have choices every day, all day long. And the environments that we're put in and the people that we surround ourselves sometimes don't put us in good situations, or they're not happy for us, right? And so we can take that moment and we can go, oh, well, I'm here, so I'm just stuck here and I have to endure this. Or we can zoom out, right, and say, is this where I want to be? Is this what I want to do? And if it's not, if this isn't going to benefit me in the long run, how can I change my actions? How can I change my environment to benefit me? And I looked at him and I said, buddy, you're only 11 and you are doing something incredible. And it's a gift because you're already being introspective. You are recognizing the time where you feel like you did something that you didn't want to do, or that didn't serve you, or that was wrong. And you did something, you took action, and that is not easy to do. And I said, but those moments are the moments to be grateful for. Because if you cannot be introspective and figure out what it is in your life that you don't like, the things that don't serve you, the things that people aren't going to be happy for you for, you have the choice to change it. You have the choice to grow from that negative experience, or that seemingly negative experience that you're always going to come in contact with. But it gave me so much joy and so much hope and pride in my 11-year-old son, because he took the time to be introspective and essentially tattled on himself and was like, Mom, I did this wrong. And I'm like, I'm not even mad, because for one, what he did, it wasn't even bad. But I was more proud that he was willing to look inside of himself, even though it wasn't easy, especially for a child. And go to his mom and lay it all out there to get in trouble potentially. But then he learned from it. In the moment, he said, I got a choice. How can I grow from this? And that is something that he can use as gratitude, because he was put in a difficult situation that wasn't going to be life-changing, but for him, perceptively, it could have been. And he used that moment to learn and grow. How can I be better? How can I handle these moments where life's going to throw a curveball at me? People are going to put me in crummy situations. How do I use this moment to be introspective and grow?
And he didn't walk himself down a path that he didn't want to. He might not have wanted to go down, but he didn't walk himself into a life that he didn't want to live in that moment either.
Yeah. He could have easily made the choice to be like, well, I'm already here. It's already happening. So I'm just going to well, I guess I can't turn back now. But you always had the choice to either turn back around or create a fork in the road. Even if you don't feel or see that there's a fork in the road, go off-roading.
Right. The truest form of intelligence is to be able to morally build the life that you want.
Yeah. And at 11, he chose to build a better life for himself. And as a mom, we always feel like we're not doing a great job, but I think that's just you always want better for your kids, right? And in that moment, I was like, I am so proud of you. So proud of you that you chose the hard path, the path of potential criticism from outsiders, the path of being judged by other people that are around you, the path of being made fun of even because it's not socially acceptable. And he went with it. He was willing to accept the potential criticism because he knew that one moment was not his defining future, that he wanted better. He didn't want to live in that moment.
And you have the ability to do that when you know yourself well enough to be able to go against the crowd. Because the easiest an easy way for somebody to manipulate you is to put you in a situation where you identify with the bad thing that you, or the thing that you don't want to do, whether or not it's bad or not. So you can identify with that by wanting to identify with that stronger than wanting to identify as somebody that goes against the grain.
Yep.
But when you know yourself well enough, when you're set in your identity well enough, you have the character to be able to go against the grain. And that also brings us back to this, is that the quote that we started with, where there's going to be those people that try to bring you down, that try and feed negativity into your life, that try to make your accomplishments seem as it's inconveniencing them in their life. Those people are going to be there. So for you, you should be, or can be, what would you say? Connected, grounded in your identity, know who you are enough to be able to withstand that, to not waver, to show true strength, and be able to step up when you feel like you need to step up for yourself.
I think another comment that can go with that too, that goes with the quote that we started with of, don't worry about the people who aren't happy for you, because the likelihood that they aren't happy with themselves is quite high. I think that if you also are introspective, there's another saying, I don't know if it's a saying, but I think it is, maybe I made it up. I have really no idea. But I remember a time where Keith and I were talking, and I don't remember exactly what question he asked me, but he's like, why doesn't that bother you? Like, what that person did to you, why doesn't it bother you? And I said, because what they say, what they do, what they think says more about them than it does about me. Right? So even go back to our son and his choices and facing scrutiny from his peers, where he's a preteen. There's a lot of scrutiny from that age. And his ability to be so introspective and so confident in his decisions and face certainty of scrutiny, but him keeping in mind that his peers' words, actions, choices, lifestyles, whatever it is, says far more about them and the life that they're living than it does about him and his decision to be different.
And he can't lose respect for himself.
Right.
That's more important than the respect that he gets from everybody else, because he has to live in his own mind, his own body, in his own life, more than they have to live in that. And so he can't lose respect for himself trying to gain respect for somebody else and then have to live in that life. That would make a miserable life.
Absolutely. And the people, if we break this quote apart, don't worry about the people who aren't happy for you. And then the second part, the likelihood that they're not happy for themselves is fairly high. Whatever they think about you, whatever they say about you, says far more about them than it does about you. Because if they can't be happy for your success, for your differences, for the things that you're proud of, the things that you worked hard for, the choices that you've made, the likelihood that they're not happy with their own success, the likelihood that they're not happy with their own choices that they're choosing, the likelihood that they're not happy with the situation that they're in is probably pretty darn high. And they don't have the capability to have that introspection, to be grateful for these moments of like tension and adversity, to grow and then gain gratitude in the future, rather than this momentary, fleeting potential, I don't even call it happiness, this momentary fling, I guess. I don't know what.
Yeah. relief.
Yeah, but a momentary pleasure.
Yeah. And it's far more for the other person anyway. So it says more about the other person, but you're also catering to the other person more than you're ever helping yourself. Like for somebody that created a lot of chaos in their life, um, by appeasing people like this, being a people pleaser, I have to remind myself daily, do I like this person or am I trying to get this person to like me? Because there's a big difference there. And everybody that I meet that's new, it used to be I have to almost performative because I thought that I had to get this person to like me. Because I always asked, does this person like me? Oh, does this person like me? Am I ensuring that this person likes me? But I have to remind myself to ask the question if I like this person. So when I meet somebody new, do I like this person? Try and get to know them. Try and be curious and see if I like this person before I ever try and perform to make them like me for some reason. Because I don't want to give up respect that I have for myself so somebody else will respect me or somebody else will like me. Because people pleasing is something that creates absolute chaos in your life. You're bringing people into your life that want a different version, a fake version, whatever you show them to try and make them happy. Yeah. And then this is it. They end up you end up doing something that is out of character because it's the character that you present to them, but it's actually in your character, who you are. And then they get down on you. Or they're a person that really just wants to be negative and no matter what, they'll just...
Once again, that says more about them than it does about
it's
you.
True. It's
right?
true.
And is that the kind of person that you want to surround yourself with? Right. Is that the kind of person that's going to build you up, that is going to win when you win, or be happy for your wins? Mm-hmm. Right? Because we get to choose our environment. We get to choose the people who we surround ourselves to either build us up or scrutinize us. And if we constantly, I think that there's a difference between scrutinizing and challenging, though. And that's a topic for a whole different conversation that we could like super deep dive into. But if we're constantly around people who are scrutinizing us and only see the negative because of negative feelings that they have towards themselves, you're setting yourself up for a life full of hardships and feeling like you never measure up and that you're never going to be good enough no matter what you do.
And when you do feel like you measure up, when you do feel like you're accomplishing things, when you feel like you're succeeding, you ultimately feel like you're winning in life. And when you have people in your life that are scrutinizing these things and constantly breaking them down, you're so focused on the perception of winning that you forget what winning is supposed to feel like.
And the journey to get there.
Right. Because all that goes into winning.
Right.
The
like
journey, the feeling, the accomplishment, the accolades.
Mm-hmm. Even think of like if you played sports growing up or played video games or whatever, where there was this win or loss at the end. We don't just decide one day to go, and our kids play lacrosse right now. You don't just decide to go join a lacrosse team without ever learning the game of lacrosse and practicing and getting good at the skills involved in playing lacrosse or even video games. You don't just pick up a video game one day that you've never heard of. You don't even know the idea of like what's the goal of the game. But half the fun of winning is figuring it out, the journey, the process of learning the skills, probably being bad at it in the beginning, being introspective and learning, how can I make this better? What can I do that will help me improve over time so that when I win, man, I can celebrate.
And you can learn it on your own. You can learn it with a group of people.
Yeah.
You can hire somebody to help you learn it. You can have, that's what coaching is for.
Right.
In sports.
And in life.
Yeah. So but these, there's definitely skills that you learn and then you put them together so then you can succeed in building the life that you want, in enjoying the life that you've built as well. Some people build a life, but they don't know how to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't know how to build a life, but they just enjoy living, and they would probably enjoy living more if they understand how to build what they wanted to build in the first place. So being able to build the life that you want to live and then also enjoy that life, that takes certain skills. Gratitude is one of those skills. Understanding your identity is one of those skills. Mm-hmm. Having character and understanding what character and what personality is, so then you know when those come out and how to build those. These are all skills. When you learn how to properly develop those and you have an understanding of it, man, it's a whole different world. You're the one that is swimming out there making it look effortless. Mm-hmm. And you get to be on the other side of that. And you just hope that that person that is out there flailing their arms, kicking their legs, and they look like they're drowning, can one day make swimming look as effortless as you.
So we thank you. We appreciate you for being with us here today. And we hope to see you in our next podcast.